If you are struggling with issues created by the high conflict relationship between your partner and their ex, today's episode is for you. I'm Cameron. I spent years building my career and creating a life I loved. And when my Prince Charming finally showed up, he had 4 kids in tow. Fast forward through lots of mistakes made and lessons learned, stepfamily life was much more complicated than I realized. If you're looking for help with blended family life, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Stepmom Diaries, where we keep it real as we dish about all the things. This is your weekly dose of blended family inspiration and encouragement. You're not the wicked stepmother, so let me help you find your fairy tale ending. Come on, let's do this. Welcome. I am so excited to bring you today's episode. First of all, because I am back after a hot minute. I took what was going to be like a month off and it turned into most of the summer. And there's a reason for that. When I left my political career a couple years ago, since I left, I've really tried to listen to my body and my intuition. And as I took that little break from doing the podcast, I realized I really needed to recharge. It had been a really busy spring. If you are a regular listener, if you follow me on Instagram, you may know that we went from splitting time between DC and Maine to moving full time to Maine in the spring. We are still not totally unpacked. I'm going to be honest. There's still quite a few boxes. We've got them tucked away so we can actually have guests, but they're there. But we're getting there. And I just needed some time to sort of sit with being in a new place and really kind of learn what it feels like to be here full time. And let me tell you, being up here for the whole summer and not going back and forth, I have started to really appreciate Maine even more than I did. And I'm just loving being up here. And there's so much to do in the summers, and it has just been packed. And the summer days are, glorious is maybe, not an overstatement. Honestly, I just feel so lucky to be here. But that is not what we're talking about today. But we're back. We've got a ton of new episodes coming for you. And before we get to our guest today, I do want to share one announcement with you. If you follow me on social or are on my email list, you probably already know this. But if you don't, the Stepmom Summit is back. I am so excited. And this year we have basically torn it down and completely rebuilt it. It is going to be amazing. And you are going to want to block all 3 days out on your calendar, September 4th through the 6th. So it's coming up in about a month. You're going to want to block these days out on your calendar because this year it is all live, 100%. Every speaker is coming to you live. Yes, it's still virtual, of course, so you can still join in your pajamas. You don't have to be on screen, but no more pre-recorded presentations, no more hoping that you hit play at the same time as everyone else and not knowing if it's like actually the speaker who's in the chat. This year, we're doing it on Zoom, and you are going to get to interact with all the speakers live, and we have some big ones I am so excited about. So I would encourage you, if you're on my email list, watch your email. If you're on my social, watch social. And maybe make sure you're subscribed here too, because I may just drop a little quickie episode to give you all the scoop. So it is going to be so awesome. I really can't tell you how excited I am. But one of our amazing guests, who I'll spoil for you now, is today's podcast guest. She is someone that I started working with as a client, and she attended our very first ever stepmom retreat a few years ago. She is now a certified stepfamily coach who came through our Stepfamily Coach Academy, and she's helping stepmoms and their other partners go from chaos to calm, especially when high conflict dynamics and neurodiverse child needs are a part of the picture. A child-free stepmom herself, she brings many years of lived experience, a very calm presence, and a deep understanding of the unique challenges that come with blended families. She's got a mindset-focused approach, and she helps clients break their old patterns, build new tools, and create lasting change. And before coaching, she spent 2 decades in human resources and leadership development. where she was able to hone her skills in strategy, goal setting, and guiding people through tough transitions. She now lives in central Pennsylvania, where she works with step families across the globe and enjoys reading and hanging out with her adorable lab, Bernie. Her favorite belief is when you know better, you can do better, which I love. So, Priscilla Smith, I'm so excited to welcome her today. So let's dive in right now. Priscilla, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Cameron.
Yes. So this is, as I said in the intro, I mean, this is the first time that I have had one of our Stepfamily Coach Academy students. But I've known you since before you came through the academy. You started out as a client and did a retreat with me and with Beth, and it has just been so much fun to watch your journey. So I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So I always start by asking stepmoms their origin story. So tell me yours. How did you and Matt meet? That's your partner. So how did y'all meet? How'd you become a stepmom? All the things.
Sure. So I love our love story, and I'm not a gushy love story type of person, but my gosh, I love our story. So we met in 2006. We worked together. We're both HR people, and he was a trainer, and it was my first HR job. And so I asked him out on a date. Seems very HR appropriate to ask one of your colleagues out for it.
I love that.
Yeah, and he said no, super nicely said no. He was dating somebody. So year goes by, he asks me out because he wasn't dating that person anymore. And I was dating somebody. And so we stayed friends for many years, 12 years, in fact. And in those 12 years, I went and got married. He got married. He had kids. I did not. And we both got divorced. In fact, we got married almost a month or two apart from each other, and we got divorced pretty close to each other. And I saw something on, as we do, Instagram or Facebook, and, looking at all of a sudden his wife wasn't in the pictures anymore, and he was eating and taking, it's when we all took pictures of food, and it was only his food and no other plates. And I was like, I'm going to just start up a conversation with him about this. Turns out he was going through his divorce. I had just gotten through my divorce, and we, after 12 years, finally got a chance to date. And that's all it took, was 12 years. And then, we started going out, and I realized he had kids, which I was pretty hard no. I just didn't want kids in my own life. Never did. And he had two of them, and he's the only man in the whole world who I would say, okay, I will be with you and your kids. And so now, as of today, we're 7-ish years in, living together. And he has two kids. I met them when they were 4 and 7, and now they are 11 and 14. Yeah.
I love it. I also love your story. I just think it's so cute. And I think it's one of those, like, gosh, that could be a movie where you like find your way back to each other. And I just think it's so cute. Now, it hasn't all been like unicorns and rainbows, because he has a very high conflict ex, and you have had a lot of dynamics over the years. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think you're such a great resource for your clients on the high conflict dynamic. Tell me about how that has unfolded, how you have dealt with it along the way. Like, what's the story?
Yeah. And thank goodness I love the guy to death, because it's a hard road with a high conflict, and it doesn't start off that way. Yes, you hear about their marriage and it was difficult, and with a high conflict it was abusive, and I felt awful for him, but didn't see how that could affect me until you start getting involved in the kids' activities, and you show up to a sporting event or a practice, or you show up to school, and then all of a sudden the school calls and says, hey Matt, we don't know if your girlfriend should come back anymore because the kid's mom doesn't want her here.
Oh my God. Isn't it crazy how we start out and we're like, this will be fine. She'll like me. I'm nice. Like,
I want no troubles. We can just say hi. And if you don't want to be friends, I don't need to be friends.
It'll eventually work out.
But no. And that's what and in fact, I'm glad you said that phrase, because that's the phrase I hate to hear from people who aren't in a high conflict situations. Oh, don't worry. It'll get better. And you guys will, be okay. We will not be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm
time
okay
heals everything.
Yeah. Please.
I hate that one too.
Yeah. It won't, but thanks for your advice. Yeah. So she tried to get me to not be allowed at the school, not be allowed in teacher conferences, and not be at practices. Do I still show up to all of those things? Yes, 100% because I'm allowed. But I was scared to death of her. Not going to
Mhm.
lie. Pretty intimidating for all of a sudden your whole life. I'm here to help and I'm a good person. And now you feel like, well, maybe I'm not a good person and maybe I shouldn't be here. And maybe I am overstepping my bounds. Maybe I shouldn't have done all of those things.
Yeah,
And
what am I doing wrong?
and it's a spiral of self-doubt to feel maybe I just shouldn't be here at all. This is making everything worse. You can't
Yeah.
see the value that you bring when someone else is telling you you are bad. You can't be here. You're harming my kids when we're not. So it's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
It's so hard, and it's so hard when they're telling you that you're bad just because of the role you occupy, not because they
Mhm.
actually know you.
Yep.
And so you have all these conflicting thoughts. Like, you have the thought of like, well, but if you just got to know me, you'd see I'm not
Mhm.
bad. Like, I can convince you. And,
Yeah.
then you have like just the anger. And I mean, it
Mhm.
just is a really, really difficult dynamic to sit with day after day and have that emotional weight on you all
Mhm.
the time. So
Yeah.
how did that impact? I mean, because the thing that I think people don't always understand about step families is it's not like from day one things sort of build. In a first family, that kind of conflict builds over time, right? But in a step family, when stepmom joins a dynamic that's like that, you're joining something that's already toxic and already nutty. So how did that impact? You and Matt have like reconnected, you have rekindled, and have this amazing love story. And then you come in and you're like, oh boy. How did that impact your relationship with Matt? How did it impact your getting to know the kids and
Mhm.
all of that?
Sure. In the early years, it was okay. They were young. So at 4 and 7, they just wanted to play and it was okay, but they kept their distance. And we would play a little while. And then all of a sudden the kids would say, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. And I'm like, yo, we were just coloring. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
And now everything's not fine. And I've learned a lot, like, the loyalty binds at its most basic level. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm attaching to this person and I'm turning against my mom because of that. I can wrap my head around that, except the years that would go on and time went on, I would hear them say, well, mom says that oh God, I have a laundry list. You're ugly. You're a millionaire. Would love to know where that money is. Like just the laundry list of lies and things. And I was like, well, you have to learn how to talk to the kids. And when you're not expecting it, you have nothing to say, not sure what to say. So in the beginning, it was me also just trying to learn how to be with kids. I didn't have any, I wasn't around them. I didn't have any kids around me. So first, how do you be around children?
Mm-hmm.
One is neurodiverse and trying to learn what that means. These kids are saying odd things about me that aren't true that their mom is saying. What do I do with that? So that was all a lot of learning about kids and kids in this high conflict divorce. And then with Matt and we lived separate for 4 years, actually. I held off for a long time wanting to like join our family, ourselves and our family live together. So the dynamics got so much worse when we moved in together. So it was at a
I
distance,
bet.
right? Yeah, I can be away. I was just like, I just got to get through this weekend and then I'm back in my own safe place and he can deal with all of this stuff. Then we moved in and the first 6 months were the honeymoon, like, oh my gosh, we have this new house. It's great. You get to pick your own paint colors for your room. Everything was awesome until it wasn't, because then of course the ex isn't happy that we're all living together. And it's like even more real that you all are together. So that was the years that we have lived together were the hardest years that we've had. So, we talk about how blended families take 7 to 10, however long years to
Mm-hmm.
actually blend and be a family. I felt like things were fine for 4. And now these last 3 were the hard. It almost feels like you're starting over again once you live together and you're selling yourself all over again. I'm like, I've been doing this
Yeah.
for 4 years and now I have to resell myself on why I belong here. And that was the most exhausting part.
And that is one of the hardest parts of the dynamic, is that you feel like you have to kind of justify why you deserve, you have to, prove why you deserve to be there. And that's not a natural dynamic when you're in a family, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not how, so I end up with a lot of clients, a lot of stepmoms that I have worked with over the years that have similar experiences where the kids will come home and we've had it happen too, where the kids will come home and say, well, mom says that you're just a real jerk and are like the worst person ever and you're ugly and you can't count,
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Mhm.
so how did you react when the kids say that?
Yeah. And it's funny because my first reaction, thank God, was the right reaction. I was like, "Ooh, ouch." Well, I don't think that. I don't think my hair is bad. That was the big thing, always about my hair. I really don't know why. I think it's quite normal. But she would always say,
You've
like,
got
"Mom
good
says,"
hair.
thank you, and it's real. Unlike somebody else that I know who's not real hair. So I'd say, "Well, geez, ouch, that kind of hurts." I said, "I actually like my hair." And that was it. I just let it go with that, and they dropped it.
Yeah.
If it was something worse, something, deeper, like mom says that you shouldn't punish us and mom says that you hurt us, that's a serious one. It's not hair. It's not you make bad grilled cheese. It's serious. And I had said, well, I'm sorry you had to hear that. That was probably
that
really
is my
hard
favorite response.
Yeah.
It really is. And sorry to interrupt because there's more to that answer, but I love being able to say, I'm sorry that you had to hear that, because that helps empathize with the kid and helps them know that like you're seeing them, because it is hard because they're being torn in two directions, right?
Yeah.
So I love like however people respond to like starting with, I'm sorry that you had to hear that.
Yeah.
That's just a lovely way to start. So I'm sorry.
Yep.
Keep going with the rest.
Oh, no.
That
also buys you a little bit of time, right? It's okay, what the heck am I going to say after this?
Yeah.
I am sorry.
Now breathe.
To hear that. And that had to have been really hard. Think. And there's fighting between two things. I think you want to say, well, what else did she say? Or why do you think she said that? And those are all questions that we don't put on a kid. It's our adult curiosity, right? So it's just, I'm sorry you had to hear that. That must have been really hard. I hope, I know that I don't hurt you, and I know that I care for you a lot. And I hope that you can see that too. And if there's ever anything that I do that upsets you, I want to know about it, because I think we have the kind of relationship that we can talk about that kind of stuff, right? And then I like to use a little humor to diffuse. So I'll say, like, remember that time I burnt your toast and you literally wouldn't touch it? You let me know. And now I know. We changed the setting on the toaster so I don't burn it anymore. Stuff like that, right? And when I didn't make your macaroni and cheese like exactly the way you liked it, yeah, because you forgot such and such thing. I'm like, exactly. So we can talk about those kinds of things. If there's ever anything that I do that upset you, you can come to me. We're cool about it. And that's kind of just it. And reminding them, you can come to me. I'm not going to yell or be upset with you.
I love that. And I love sort of encouraging them to think independently, but without being critical of mom, because like they're coming to you with something that is very critical of you that has been said by mom or the other house. And you don't want to do that in return, because all that does is make that divide even deeper. So I love the idea of very subtly encouraging them to think for themselves, well, gosh, that doesn't sound like something I would do. I don't know. Have you seen me do that? Or, just kind of like, but you have to do it very like, it's hard to balance the language there, right? And like pull back and not have, and have the very neutral language like, well, gosh, that's weird.
Yeah. It's the leading with curiosity that you can do in literally any relationship, anything. That approach works. And if you need to scream, melt down, and talk about it, that's later with your partner.
Yep, do it with your partner.
Another time. Yeah. You're just like, can't wait to tell you what I talked about today with the kids. And then we have a recap at night. But in the moment, and it's hard to do in the early years when this is me a little more stable. In the early days, you don't know. No, there's not a book or a pamphlet that we all get that says, well, hey, when the kids say these things or these things, this is exactly what you have to do. Yeah. So it's hard, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to hate yourself because you made the mistake, and you can just do better next time when you know better. That's all.
Yeah. We're really hard on ourselves, aren't we? when we do make mistakes, because every parent makes mistakes, right? Like talk to any biological or any parent that's in a first family, they've made mistakes, but we feel like ours are so much worse somehow, right?
Yeah. And I think I was talking to another stepmom friend about it. We don't have the bank to draw on like parents do. And it feels like it's endless over on the parent side. Even in an abusive parent-child relationship, they can still draw on this bank. And we feel like we don't have one. And it takes a while to build it up. And I think what I was reminding this other stepmom of is, you've been around for years. You have a bigger bank than what you think you have. And it is okay to make this mistake that wasn't even that bad. But we feel like we're always living on the last interaction that we had.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Well, so what's your relationship like now with the kids?
It's completely different than it was. Now we're also moving into teenage years, which I don't care.
That's a whole different ballgame.
What kind of kid has come from what? Teenage years are wild. So preteen and teen. And they are much better. I know that I have the bank to draw on. And I know that after years, I can reiterate rules. I can reiterate the boundaries that we have, where before everything was default to Matt. We can hang out together. We have inside jokes. And I feel like that once we had that, and it was one of the kids that said like, oh my God, you remember that time? And it's the situation they bring up all the time. Actually, I put cumin on my toast instead of cinnamon for whatever reason. That has stuck with them forever. And it was the funniest thing. And it's like so simple, and they will remember it all the time. They always bring it up. Or we had some funny joke or thing that we said at a restaurant one time, and they bring it up. And I'm like, ooh, I think we've crossed over. We've crossed over the other side, and we are still having bumps because we went through a big legal custody battle last year, and that was hard on everyone. And when you can still ground in those inside jokes and remember each other in the really hard times, what simple things can we do to keep each other together? That's what reminds me, we're not where we were. We've crossed over, and we are an actual family. And when you hear the kids say like, well, our family, I'm like, oh, you mean like 1, 2, 3, 4? I'm included. That's really nice. It's nice.
Have you ever heard one of your kids talk about you in, and I mentioned this because it was the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, they included me, when they referred to me and Craig as like my parents.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wait, am I one of those? I'm one of the parents. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I tried to be like super cool about it, and I like didn't do anything or react other than look at Matt, and I'm like, me, you and me, you and me. And
I know,
like,
I think I said something to Craig afterwards, and I was like, wait, so she called us her parents.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, duh. And I was like, no, but I like, that's, I'm a parent.
I now feel like I really belong, only rather than fake belong before. It's so big, and it's stuff that, your regular mom friends or parent friends don't understand. They even see you belonging rather than we're the last ones who feel like we belong.
100%. I think that, you and I have both been through the high conflict stuff. And I think that a lot of stepmoms that I talk to that have been through that, one of the things they don't realize at first is that finding peace in that kind of chaos is not going to look like the ex ever changing her nasty ways. It's really something that comes more from what stepmom is able to do for herself. Tell me a little bit about that, because you definitely are in one of those situations where that high conflict has never stopped. But you are much happier today than you were 7 years ago with all of this. So tell me how you have gotten to that place, because I think that's a huge turning point for stepmoms, when they can kind of accept that like they're never going to be able to convince her to like them. They're never going to be able to convince her to behave better. It's all about, what's inside them.
Yeah, it's the biggest lie we tell ourselves. I can make this better. And I feel like this is what I walk through with clients too, is when you can understand what a high conflict person is, that's the first door to crack open. Because if you can't understand that a high conflict person will never change. And I know never and always are words that we try to not use when describing people, except with high conflict. They will never change. They will always have conflict with you. When you can really wrap your head around it, which doesn't just, I say that sentence and it doesn't just click either. That's the first step, is understanding who they are and how they behave. And then the next biggest one, which is also incredibly hard, is letting go of what you can't control. And that is incredibly hard, I think, especially for stepmoms, because we don't have control over most of what happens in our house, right?
Yep.
And so we are gripping on to anything we can for it's how the house is run, the kitchen counters being cleaned, where things go, how the kids are being, we have no control. So we grip onto everything and we're like, but this I can make better. So once you can really, and it's an exercise to work through all of the things that you can't control. And Cameron, you've gone through this with us too. And then all the things that you can influence, because it's a lot more than you think. And then the things that you can control. It is the most powerful exercise I have ever been through as a human, because that works across every area of your life. And once
it's my favorite thing to do with people, because it is so impactful, because you really, and you're right, hearing you talk about latching onto the little things, there were things that I cared about as a new stepmom that I look back and I'm like, why did that even matter to me? Like, that is so dumb. That would never matter to me in any normal circumstance. But because I felt like I was so out of control and everything else, you're latching onto these things. I think that's so normal.
Yeah. Yeah. So normal. And when you can tell yourself, and I should say, when you can ask yourself, when you're gearing up, is this something I can control? Most of the time it's no.
Yep.
And how you can walk yourself through, okay, then I can't put energy to this. It's not that I can't care. You can care. I can't put energy to that, because then you end up, and like you were saying, I'm in a much better place now. But the high conflict X has actually gotten more high conflict, and I have gotten more peaceful. So that's going to also run.
That's amazing.
In a bar graph, right? If you are in a little line chart, if you could see that, I am getting it more at peace. She is getting more high conflict. And that makes sense. If you understand high conflict people, the more you take yourself away from them, the more they are going to pour in and really try to get into you. I mean, Matt and I actually, we're big Jurassic Park people around here, mainly because my stepson loves Jurassic Park, and the raptors are always testing the fences if the electricity is off, right? And that's what they're doing. They are testing all the time. Can I get in this way? Can I get in this way? And they keep doing it to get into you. And some days they're going to get in, because
that is such a great analogy.
Robots.
Oh my gosh.
The raptors are testing the fences. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do to take care of yourself? Because you have had, these sort of ebbs and flows of chaos and crazy. Like, how are you making sure that you're taking time and, keeping the mental space to be able to pull yourself out of these moments?
Yeah, it's a regular exercise, because I want to do all the things. It's in my nature. So I have created routines. So Enneagram 1, love routines, love structure, all of those kinds of things. But I still am a believer that a routine feels good to everyone. So my routine, even on transition day, after dinner, is like, I'm a little feeling buzzy, like kind of after that time. So I go upstairs and take my space away for myself. Sometimes I watch TV, sometimes I fold laundry, but it's my time on that first day. And it also gives Matt time with the kids to reconnect on their first day. I never did that. I was around the whole time, just waiting. And it was awful. And then sometimes I will go to the grocery store that we live in a kind of rural area. It's like an hour away. So 3 hours, I'm gone, just at my favorite store, Wegmans, taking a nice drive, listening to my book.
Oh, I miss Wegmans.
It's the best store. It's the best. I can't believe we don't have one. And then
we had one in Virginia, but not Maine. It's very sad.
I'd love you for that. So I take that time for myself, even though it felt in the beginning like I'm leaving. I feel like I'm running away from them. I am not giving them all of the attention. They're only here for a short period of time. I can give more when I am here less. So it's a opposite statement, but it is so true. and I go for a lot of walks. We have a dog. And so if things are getting a little like, I need to get out of here, one of us, Matt or I, will just say, I'll take the dog for a walk. I'm like, got it. I know you need that time.
I love that. I love that. And you have been putting some video of your dog walks on Instagram, and your dog is very cute. I'm a dog lover, as folks know, but it's so fun. Yeah. Okay, well, so let's do the one piece of advice. Like, I think that this conversation, I think, is going to resonate with so many of the women that listen to this podcast, because so many people have this high conflict, challenging dynamic. If you had one thing that you could leave them with today, what would that be?
Take deep breaths as much as you can, because I even do that, taking this deep breath right before I just said that statement, because this is, it's not easy, and you are not alone, and this is hard. For me, I always come back to every day, what is in my control? Can I control this? So I know we talked about that exercise, but I truly think if you can just give yourself a pause, and it is always okay to pause, even if the kids are there and everyone's needing something from you, be able to say, I just need a couple minutes, step away. What can I control in this situation? Anything? Mm-hmm. No. Okay. So I'm just going to release that. I'm going to let it go, and always talk to your partner, because they're going to think maybe you're running away. They're going to think you're mad. We have our codes, right? So just have a couple codes. I need to take the dog for a walk, or like, I just need a couple minutes. I'm going to be back. I am okay. I just need a couple minutes. So it's a couple bits of advice there together, but probably
I love that, because I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to sort of always be there and always have the right answer, and always, and that's not a natural state of being, right? Yeah. Like, we need to cut ourselves some slack, and it's okay to take a step back and take a breath. And I love that advice.
And they don't need you there all the time.
No, so
shockingly enough, they don't need you there.
They don't. I know. It feels like they do, but they really don't.
They don't. Yeah.
So I have so enjoyed watching your journey from client to coach, and I knew even when you were a client that you would be a great coach someday, and you are. What made you decide to do it, though? I was so thrilled when you decided to take the plunge and get the certification, because I knew that you do have just a very natural way with people, but tell me what made you decide to do that.
Yeah. When you put out the email, and we were in the first coaching group, there was not even a pause. I just went and did it. And then I went to my partner and I was like, I signed up for this. Should I have done that? Because it was so instinctive to think I would not be sitting here, yes, even talking to you, but also just here in this mental place without coaching myself, like while going through coaching. And it's not a plug. It's the honest truth. You can't do this by yourself. No one knows how to do this. And even if you are an expert in conflict yourself, maybe through some other professional channel, it's different when it's yourself and you're going through this. You can't see clearly. So I knew what coaching did for me and the tools that it gave me that I talk about today and that I still use every single day. How can I not share that with other women? It would be too selfish to keep it to myself.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's been so much fun to watch you grow into coaching, and you are doing such amazing work. And I will make sure to link in the show notes to your site so that folks can find you, because I can tell all of our listeners, like, if you're dealing with a high conflict situation, Priscilla's your gal. Like, she's got so much experience and knowledge around this. Now, you also have a freebie for our listeners, and I love this. It's around the transition day, which is such a complicated and challenging day for folks. Tell me a little bit about what that is, and then we'll link to it in the show notes for everybody.
Sure. Yeah. So transition day, the day that the kids come to you, and a lot of people dread that day. You white knuckle it, and you don't have to. Yes. And there are a few very easy things you can literally do today if you read through the transition day, guide that can help you make them easier. And it is all about you, but it is also about making it easier for your partner and for the kids and for the family as a whole. And you can ground yourself in that so you don't dread the first day anymore.
I love that. That is something that I think has really been needed by so many people. So if you're listening and you have stepkids, go and get her transition day freebie, because this will help you. Priscilla, this is so fun. I was so excited that this worked out, and so excited to have you today. And I just can't wait to see all the things that are in store.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak to your stepmoms.
That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed our chat, I hope you'll help spread the word. Share this episode with friends and head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave me a review. And don't forget, for more great stepmom content, head on over to thiscustomlife.com and follow me on social media. Just search This Custom Life on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Until next time, you keep being you and know that we are in this together. See you here next week.